All right. All right. I think we're live now. Yep, there we go. All right. So hello everybody, and thanks for taking time to come to our market update again. It's been a couple of weeks, actually probably almost a month or more now, since Mr. Mark McKenna and myself have come to kind of talk about the local South Jersey market. Mark, as always, thanks for taking the time and being here and providing value.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I think we started doing these updates, kind of in COVID, and I know I was doing mine from my basement for a good amount of time, with a lot longer hair and a full beard. But I think things have started to change a little bit, which is good. And that's I think we've gotten a lot of feedback from people over the last probably 7-8 months, kind of talking about how these have helped them to make decisions as far as buying, selling, refining. I mean, all kinds of different things. So tell us.
Well, it's funny. It's funny that the feedback that I've gotten was kind of like, hey, it's a breath of fresh air on, there is some normalcy in the beginning. And, I had a couple of my clients call me and like, hey, we weren't going to call you because we didn't think anything was happening. And then when you started saying how busy you were, and then you listed the house and then you sold it. I'm like, well, it's because we told you what was happening.
Yeah.
So it was, that this 7-month stretch, I would say, is probably our busiest month ever in the history of our group and our company. So it's probably, that's a 41-year period. So that says a lot right there.
Sure does. And any signs of it really slowing down from your side?
Well, typically September and October for us, kind of we peel back from over the summer.
Yep.
And September, October, and November. September and October will be our busiest 2 months ever of any month, any May, June, July. So the answer is no. Inventory still light. We were laughing the other day in the meeting. Jeff had an offer on a property, and the agent was so overwhelmed. She had 92 showing requests in 5 days.
Oh my God!
They actually had to stop showing the house because they had 92 showing, and I think she underpriced it. Probably sold like 30,000 over list on 430 house. Wow. So that's some crazy statistics there. And still, some houses are seeing multiple bids at a high pace. And the market dictates the value. So if people see value in the house, it'll sell right away. If it doesn't sell right away, then there's some couple things you got to tweak to get it to that point. So it's
one of the things I had heard, years have gone on, through the time that pools didn't have as much value as they, in the past. Let me ask you. I mean, from what I've heard, and I'd like you to come out of your mouth here. I mean, is that pool worth anything today?
Pools are so hot, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
So there's a couple things. I used to tell people a nice in-ground pool gives value of about probably 10, maybe 15,000. If you got a crazy cabana on a higher price house, you might squeeze out 20. Today, if you have to get a pool put in, you're probably 2 years out. Yeah. If you can even get anybody to even come out to look at your house to give you an estimate. And one of the reasons for that is a lot of people down the shore are spending some high-end dollars. The pool guys are all working down there. They don't have to come up here because the demand's so strong and their profitability so high down there. So which puts people want these houses with pools. If I get something in that 500 to 800,000 with a pool set up, I'm selling it in 10 days. Like it's gold right now. They're saying the pool's in good shape and the house is in good shape.
Of course.
So, but I've never seen. I've always said, I've said this more in the last 5-6 months. I've never seen. It seems like a common theme out there. But yeah, it's people, and it's not like, well, you can put a pool in. They don't want to hear it. If they want a pool, they want it ready. I had a guy over the summer. He jumped in the pool at the walkthrough. He was so excited to get his pool. After he run through the house, his wife wanted to kill him. He just ran in and jumped in the pool. We were laughing.
Hey, well, whatever is going to help sell things right now, for sure, go for it. One thing too is just as we've done in the past, guys, if you guys have any questions and you'd like to have, myself or Mark answer them, feel free to, leave us a comment. This is broadcasting on Facebook, Facebook Live, and also on YouTube Live. So feel free to reach out, and we'd be happy to answer any specific questions you might have. Yeah, cool. So back to it. So what other amenities are really hot right now in the marketplace?
Home gyms are real big. Home office space. Nice finished basements. Like you worked out of your basement for what, 4 months?
Good amount of time.
I mean, if you look at some statistics out there, 10% of the workforce is back in New York City, only 10%. So how many people are working out of their house? A lot. Okay. And that probably is going to be something that's going to constantly change. So they're the amenities that people are looking for. A lot of people want a little bit more privacy. We used to always say, the further you get away from the city, the less valuable your real estate is. Well, that's changed. I list something in Chemung or Tabernacle, I'll get 25 showings a weekend. So they want privacy. They want to spend time in their backyard and different things like that. So I think the gym, the pool, and the home office are really, and the standards, the great country, big open kitchen concept is always something. So that's what everybody's looking for.
Are you seeing a lot of people buying something that maybe, isn't exactly what they want, but they're like, they have the intention of buying it and then just completely ripping it out and doing it themselves and doing it the way they want?
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of people just, if the location works. I've seen a lot of, like, I was just on the phone with a guy today. He's like, I want settlement as early because I got all my hardwood floors getting delivered at 12 o'clock. I got to get in and be done. And, we're ripping this out. We're doing that. It depends on, the level of the price point. There's also a lot of people who have lost 5, 6, 7, 8 houses, and they're just, they know how competitive this market is. I mean, one of the things that we always talk about is when you got to go out and start shopping for a house, you really have to have, like, we're so strict when we get buyer leads anymore. Yeah. Do you have a pre-qual? Like, well, I'm qualified. I'm like, listen, it moves at a fast pace. You need to have everything done ahead of time. And with your process, through the underwriting, and it helps the whole game.
Yeah. So. No, it's true. I mean, it's everywhere. No, it's not, it's not just even South Jersey. It's the same place everywhere. Everybody's got the same issues right now. Are you starting to see an uptick in inventory, or is that starting to change?
Not really. We're still running. What I have seen the shift is typically 20% of my inventory is under contract and 80% is available. Okay. Right. So now we're 80% under contract and 20% is available. It got to a point where we were probably running, like, I usually carry 55 to 60 active or pendings. At one point I had 9 active. So it was like, yes, I'm like, woof. So, and it's tough to keep up. Appraisers, I got to tell you, the appraisers have been really good because some of the numbers that they get thrown at them, we know they can't make it, but the demand is so strong. A lot of people are unbelievably enough waiving appraisal contingencies.
Sure.
I've had some sellers buy out some mortgage insurance. Okay. So, because they're comfortable paying the number, they just don't want to go in that mortgage insurance category. Yeah. So that's a nice way to kind of keep everybody happy throughout the deal.
Sure. So that's a good point too. I mean, what are you? I mean, I know you said you kind of elaborated on it, but maybe dig in a little bit deeper. Like, how are you seeing it with appraisals? I can give you what I've seen. I mean, I've seen the good. And I was actually talking to an agent last night, and we were talking about it. And we've seen appraisals come in where we didn't even think they were going to come in, and they're hitting and they're hitting the number that we need. And then I've been on the other side of a transaction recently where it came in $58,000 light. And I was flabbergasted. So, what do you seeing with that, and how are you, and how do you combat that as you're making new highs in developments? How does that play out?
I think one of the things that a strong listing agent's going to do is I meet every appraiser at the property. Okay, so you need to make sure that because there's some pocket listings that don't hit the MLS that you got to do your homework, know the neighborhood, know what's happening, provide them with the right information. Like we had one that was a private sale. We brought the settlement sheet. He had no idea. He's like, "Oh my God, thank God you brought this. I would have never made value." And I said, "We know we're not. I know when I'm stretching and when I'm not. And so it's good to be there to make sure. Hey, this is why I came about this. I mean, I had 9 offers. We had more money. We took this deal because we thought it would be easier to make the appraisal and not have this, So they're the kind of things that we talk about, to make things happen.
Are you seeing? One of the things that I have seen is a lot of people, and again, I obviously write all kinds of loans, whether it's FHA, conventional, whatever the case may be. But I've seen a lot more agents specifically only taking conventional deals.
I have seen that. That's very common.
Is that? I mean, I have my own opinion, obviously, on why that is. I'm assuming it's because of how the appraisals are logged and how the values get put into the system.
Correct. I mean, some of these sellers don't want to do any little repairs or a flaking paint issue or electrical certification. A lot of the deals are as is. So it can be, and asking for closing costs is very difficult.
Sure.
So if you have a lender like yourself who can say, all right, let's do a closing cost credit, so you don't need as much, so you're not as rate sensitive on the loan because the rates are so. That's a great way to put an FHA deal together.
Sure.
So we just wrote 2 offers last night. Both were FHA and both needed, in that 240 range. They both needed $7,000 towards closing. I said, you're not going to get that deal. It's very unlikely. Very unlikely.
Gotcha.
So you got to be as creative as possible with where rates are at right now, and you can still build it up and still have an amazing interest rate and not pay that out of pocket.
It's free money, man. I've been saying it, I think, since the beginning of COVID. It's unbelievable. And, with the potential of what's happening with, the election coming up, which we promised we're never going to talk politics. But with that happening and then the spikes now in COVID, the stock market tanking based upon that, we're seeing the bond coming back down again. So it's, there's people betting on even lower rates. The bonds are trading, and people are thinking we're going to see a coupon potentially in the 2% coupon, and I've actually heard people even talking about the 1.5% coupon, which is crazy to think.
And I told my sales group last November, December, I read an article in the Wall Street Journal that talked about negative interest rates. And they all looked at me like I had 9 heads. I'm like, this can happen here. So, and we're getting close to that. So, for anybody who's watching, doesn't mean that your interest rate on your house, your mortgage company is not going to give you money.
You would check.
Yes, every month we give you $300. But what we talk about is, your money in the bank is losing money every month. That's what your negative interest rate comes down to. So if we see negative interest rates, a 30-year could be at 1.75, right?
I have a buddy.
I've never been there, but
yeah, no, I have a buddy who I just locked on a 1.875 on a 15-year.
1.875.
And he was like, "Are you kidding me?" So there was a little bit of a cost to get down to it, but he's like, "It's 15 years. It's free money. Why wouldn't I do it?" So, it actually did tick back up a little bit since then. But then we're starting to see it come back down again. So it's been a little volatile, and I got a feeling we're going to see a lot more volatility.
Yes.
And volatility can be good and bad for rates. So as I'm telling people right now, like have a lot of my people that are floating going into this upcoming weekend, and I'm like, we're getting those locked, man. With this election, it's just it's a little sketchy to be to float right now. So,
Correct.
but who knows?
And I think that, you know, we're going to continue to stay busy, you know, for a while. I don't think this thing's going to change.
Yeah.
I think that overnight, people realize that they can work from home 4 days a week. I mean, I notice a hell of a lot less traffic in the morning. It's not like it nowhere near. I can see, you know, simple stuff. I talked to my dry cleaner, and she's like, "People aren't getting dressed and going to work. You're one of the only dopey guys who still goes in every day and wears a shirt and tie." And so I'm like, you know, but you know that is something that we probably won't ever see change again. I'm really curious, you know, not to get off topic, but what happens in the commercial markets and office space. I mean, I think that's a sector that is going to take a really big haircut coming up. You know, industrial space is through the roof, but you know, your commercial side of retail and office space is in for a rude awakening. So that's interesting.
Yeah, well, and I will tell you that, you know, I actually have a friend who does outfitting for commercial space, and they're making big changes to these buildings because of what's happening. You know, the buildings that went with that open feel, because they wanted that open concept with everybody working with like pods in a big open space and an office space, is changing back to what that was, you know, 10, 15 years ago. Everybody had their own little small office space being, you know, so everybody can sit away from somebody else. So I think it's a topic for another day. We can bring one of those guys on and talk about that. But you are right. There's a big change coming there. Well, back to the market and the local South Jersey market. Talk about the different price points. What are you seeing, and you know, is it slowing down in one area? I mean, obviously we know the first time home buyer market is on fire, but what's give us some background.
You know, I look at things in two segments, you know, 500 and under and 500 plus. So that 500 and over has been stagnant. And the towns that I usually work hard are Marlton, Medford, Mount Laurel, Morristown, Cherry Hill, Voorhees, Chemaga, Tabernacle. What we saw on our over 500, we saw a 60% decrease on days on market year over year.
That's crazy.
So that is, I mean, that's huge, because a lot of my inventory would sit there 120 days on you know, a couple price reductions, not even close. Even more impressive, year over year from September 19, September 20, we saw 129% more transactions in that over 500%, $500,000 price point than last year. 129%. So that's a really, really good sign, because inventory, when you were looking in that 6 to 9, you can go out and look at, you know, 8, 10 houses. Not anymore. You don't do that. So I listed something yesterday in Medford for 700. I had 4 showings the first day. I have an offer. I should wrap it up today. So, you know, there was a off-market property that was up for 5 years. I had an agent call me. They said, "Hey, do you got anything coming up for 1.3, 1.4?" I made a phone call, and I said to the guy, "Are you really ready to sell that house?" And he's like, "Yeah, you got a buyer?" And I said, "Yeah, we priced it." Showed the house. They bought it for 1.25, and he bought another house for 700 within Medford, and it was one phone call. So, you know, kept the deals together. It wasn't easy, but that's the kind of thing. There's demand out there in a lot of different price points. So that's a good thing to see.
Cool. So for the people out there that might be considering listing again, and we've kind of talked about this in the past, you know, in our previous you know, conversations, what does it look like right now, you know, when it comes to open houses and how to get your house ready, and when somebody's coming through the property, and then do you think, and it's a 2-part question, so I apologize, but the second part to that would be, with the uptick that we're seeing really around the rest of the country, it doesn't seem to be hitting us as much here in Jersey right this second, but we all know it's going to. It's just a matter of time. Is there going to be a shift again back to the way that it was months ago? And if you can think about elaborating on that.
So open houses, we've done one open house since COVID hit.
Yeah.
The consumer's been great. We let one person in at a time come in, gloves, mask. We're always, taking the proper steps with proper PPE equipment. So we do that. So I don't. The way the market moves, it's really tough to do open houses.
Doesn't need them.
Yeah, and you don't want 9 people sitting out in front of a house, and it's got a little bit of an awkward feel. So as far as the shift and thinking about somewhat of a shutdown, I think that if that did occur, it's going to be a lot easier for us because we've already lived through it. Okay,
Sure.
we know the proper steps to take.
Yeah.
And when people are calling you, when you're in a shutdown type of situation, that their level of interest to buy a house is really high.
Yeah.
I think that hurts the cities way more than the suburbs, and I think you're going to see a second wave of people move out of the city to keep fueling this market because unfortunately what you have going on in the city right now, along with potentials of being stuck in a high rise, really messes with people's heads. So it'll show it even more. I want the gym. I want the home office. I want to be able to walk in my backyard. I can get stuff delivered to my house. I don't have to worry about that. So I think we're going to see another second wave on that.
Yeah.
Which is sad to say for the city, but it'll be. Who knows what's going to happen next week? The next week could be the craziest. I mean, this has been nuts, but this next 3 weeks could be the craziest time in the history of the United States. So I'm just, it's like, you don't know what to think.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, it's not going to, I mean, again, we're not getting into politics, but it's not going to end on Tuesday because we just know that that's the beginning of it.
No, it could go to Thanksgiving.
Yeah, exactly.
And
it's true.
We're even allowed to have Thanksgiving if you have to eat Thanksgiving on your driveway. And,
Very possible, man. Very possible.
Oh my lord! So, and I have to say the lenders have done a great job. I mean, you guys, your back office staff all overworked. A strong purchase market, a strong refi market. Title companies, same thing. I mean, those people have worked so hard.
Yeah,
getting through this. A lot easier. They're not doing the drive-through closings, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I know, you can do a deal pretty quickly.
Yeah.
A lot of lenders out there are still asking for 45 days right now because the pipeline, it's not bad advice because you don't want sellers to feel pressured.
Yeah.
And that's what happens sometimes because they think they can go out and find something easy and they're struggling. And then some of the deals get a little uptight, to say the least.
Yeah, we try to. I mean, we do the same. I mean, look, can we get a deal done in 30 days? Sure. I got one that came in yesterday, and it's closing in right at the end of November. But at the end of the day, though, I still try to tell people try to go for 45, just because it's not really always up to just us. Appraisers are taking 2.5 weeks, to get an appraisal report back, and if you don't want a borrower to put the money out for an appraisal before the home inspection's in, now you're 3 weeks out, 3-4 weeks. You know what I mean? It's like almost impossible to get it in that time frame. So you gotta think about that. Now, if people are willing to waive the, not worrying about the home inspection, they just want to get the appraisal done, then we just speed it up, right? And we just move it.
Well, I always laugh when I negotiate deals when people ask for 30-day closings. Yeah. Typically, it's agent driven.
Yeah.
The agent wants to get paid faster. That's always nice when you have a pipeline that you can say, let's do the right thing. Let's not overpromise and underdeliver. Right. Let's do the right thing so we don't do 7 extensions. And I want to jump through the phone and choke you.
I would never say that. I'm going to let you say that.
Okay. You either love me or hate me. There's no in between. So I'm not here to make any new friends. So, good.
So what, on that same note, what's new and going on in Marlton with the actual market here? I mean, we've got a lot of apartments and things that have been bumping up, and new space. Are they still filling up the same way?
Filling up. I just got a construction meeting for our project. I was with Bob Meyer, who owns the building we're in. They had zero vacancy this entire year. They didn't have one day empty. I was told, I don't know how true this is, that the new building at Renaissance, they have 800 people on the list. That wow. And they're filling those units pretty quickly. Those rentals are from 16 to 2,500 over there. I know Barclay is at full capacity. So, you got a lot of people out there who sell their house. They don't want to make a quick decision. Yeah. They might be, if they like to rent for a year or so. Some of my clients have enjoyed it, and other people want to get out tomorrow. Sure. So, they just don't want to go rush and buy something just for the sake of buying a house, which is good advice. You want to see and it's also when you have a chain reaction deal compared to someone who has no house under contract, you're at a disadvantage because you got to worry about two houses instead of one transaction. So that's why people are taking their time. So it's pretty it's strong. It's as strong as it's ever been. Yeah. It's a great time for buyers because the money's so cheap. It's a great time for sellers because you're getting strong dollars. And the thing that I take out of the most, because everybody's like, aren't you worrying about the crash? I said, well, living through, this will be my third, move in the market in my 29 years. I said, the big difference that I see, I have never seen such good quality buyers in a market. Yeah. It's not skin in the teeth. It's not 100% financing. There's no income, no asset. They're strong deals. Yep. And not that you want to hear this, but there's a lot of cash deals out there too. I've never seen so many cash transactions. Yeah, it's true. So that's what you're looking at. Hey, real quick too, if anybody needs to get in touch with Mark, you got any, you want a question, or you want to, you want to list with him, or you want to just talk to him about the process, below on the screen is his cell phone number. Go ahead and feel free to give him a call or a text. Mark, while we're talking about that, and not to put you on the spot, but if you're a buyer right now, got a couple of key points that they should be thinking about, or things that they can do to make themselves stronger, or something that you think is important, obviously, in this market, like maybe a couple of quick tips? Well, first of all, you got to really be focused in on what you want. Number one, you can't be all over the place because you're going to drive yourself crazy. You need to have, before you even get out and go look, you got to have that pre-qual. You can't have anything hanging out there. You got to make sure you look as strong on paper as you can. And I tell everybody the same thing. When you go look at a house, okay, you either buy it that day or you forget about it. Because if you come back in 2 days and we want to put an offer, more than likely it'll be gone if it's in the first 5 days of being on the market. So and what usually happens, you lose the first one, the second one you get more aggressive, the third one you're really going after strong. So, but that would be my key point, my 3 key points. Be focused on what you want, and part of that too, Jeff. When you work with us, I don't know how other agents work. We bring you in for buyer consult. We want to know what you're looking at, what's most important to you. We want to hear it. We want to make sure that you're prepared. We set expectations. We know exactly what you're thinking, and we'll take that extra half an hour, 45 minutes to do that. And we close a much higher percentage of that because we care about what we're trying to sell you. So that's what I would say. Yeah. How about yourself? I'm going to ask you a question. You think, so you get listing agents call you all the time. And what's a question that a listing agent says when they call you about a potential buyer? The first question is always, how does this buyer look? Have you looked at their credit and their income and their assets? Are they solid? And, the one thing that we do, and I don't think every lender does this, I think we're a little unique in that, is that every single one of our buyers are underwritten up front. So that when they go out and they make an offer, it's not a pre-qual, it's a full, we call a true approval, which means thoroughly reviewed and underwritten based upon credit and income and assets. So that's what we're telling a listing agent, is that you got comfort level in knowing we've already gone down that road with this customer.
This isn't somebody that our underwriter is going to see for the first time. So you got a much higher percentage of that person getting through without problems. And I think that plays well in helping them to feel comfortable, and hopefully I would assume you would think the same.
Yeah. So just so consumers know this, how often does that happen where the listing agent will call you to verify on that strength of that buyer?
I would actually say it probably in this environment right now, it's about 90-95%. And the other 5%, I'm calling the listing agent because most of the time they're beating me to the punch. I try to offer that, for myself to make that phone call, but it's happening a lot. Like everybody wants to know that this buyer is solid.
So for all those home buyers out there, that goes to show you how important that whole making sure everything's together. Because they are checking. A good agent's going to pick up the phone and say, "Is this deal, or did you throw this against the wall to see if it sticks, or it's a strong deal?" So that's how transactions get done.
Yeah, no, it's true, and it's super important. And I think those are the extra steps that guys like yourself and myself take to make sure that clients have a good experience, and that they go through and they close on time, which is obviously most important.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we should schedule another call right before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So see what transpired after this wonderful election and give everybody a market update. I am anticipating the best fourth quarter we've ever had.
Yeah.
So that's where I think our world's going to be. I don't see anything slowing down. One of the things that people usually say to me, do people really buy houses in November and December with school? And I go, school's on a computer now.
I was just going to say, yeah.
It doesn't matter. You can go, and they're like, oh, I didn't think about that. I'm like, yeah, my daughter, I was in Algebra 2 this morning while she was in the background waving everybody. So it's different. So it's not, it's probably something we'll never see again, hopefully.
Right.
But people are mobile, transient, and the school goes right with them wherever they walk around their house.
Well, and their jobs too, right? I mean, a lot of their jobs. If we've learned anything from this, it's that people can work from anywhere.
Correct.
And you can be productive. So if you can be productive from anywhere, what do people care? Companies are going to prefer that.
On a sad note for all the kids in school, you will never, ever, ever, ever have another snow day again because you're going to be a Zoom class instead of having a snow day building a snowman. So the technology has removed your snow days.
It kind of sucks, to be honest with you.
They were great days growing up. Snow days were fun.
Used to wear my pajamas inside out to make the snow come. I remember the teacher used to tell you that. Like,
when you wake up and no snow and you got a test and you get a C-.
So. You never got C minuses. Come on.
I was D's. So.
Good stuff. Cool, man. Well, any other last points you want to kind of make to the local market, or anything you want to?
Well, if you're even on the fence about selling your house and you're concerned about which direction the market's going, do not hesitate and pick up the phone and make a phone call, because we are still selling things in a week, a day, pre-market, whatever. So it's something that, some people don't want to deal with the hassle of having 1 million people transfer their house. We probably have 35, 40 buyers on my group waiting to buy houses. And then there's other people who want as much traffic through the house as possible to see how high of a price they can generate. Whatever people want us to do, we can accommodate that. We did just bring in about 8 new properties that are going live. So social media, you'll see everything coming soon. We don't play games with bringing people through prior. If we have something that we canvas and find a listing for somebody, that that'll sell prior to. But it's a great time to be a seller and also a buyer, like I stated.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Thanks again for setting this up, and I think it's always informative. I always learn something on the call, and so it's great. And hope everybody out there picked a tip up or two.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, please, guys, reach out. Obviously, you can reach out to Mark on all the social media channels. His contact information was just up. I'm right down the street from Mark on Main Street in Marlton, so feel free. Our office isn't open for clients to come in, but we will be happy to come outside and meet with you guys. We are still here working in the office, and we're doing a lot of purchases. Not as many. I mean, and that's the one thing I wanted to mention too. The MBA, the Mortgage Bankers Association, is actually projecting that there's going to be a little bit of a down number next year, but you got to understand the context of the down number. We are having the largest mortgage market in the history of the country. It's literally, it broke all the records, or it should by the end of the year. So we're having the largest year, and even next year when they're expecting potentially a 20% downturn from that, that's still going to be the second largest mortgage. That was my question. That's right. So it's not like, it's not like it's like a downturn, like we're going into a bad area or an area where the mortgages aren't going to be there. It's just from it's been such a high mark this year that there's only so many people out there that can refi. Now, if rates keep going down, it potentially could happen, but who knows, right? We don't know.
Did you ever think you would say you might have to refi somebody at a 3% rate?
We're doing it now. It's crazy.
Right,
I mean, we focus on most of our stuff on purchases, but when the refis are coming in, you can't turn them away. And I mean, people that bought houses, 8 months ago were refining right now. It's absolutely insane. So, but as always, Mark, it's great to have you, and appreciate you providing all this great information for everybody out there. And thank you everybody for watching, and feel free to share this with anybody out there that may be looking to buy, sell, and let us know, and we'll be happy to help. And as Mark said, we'll come back with another one, maybe since we're probably not going to be hitting the bars on the day before Thanksgiving.
No, that's good. Maybe we'll do that like Tuesday. We'll do it right before. And maybe we'll do it for like a happy hour. We'll have drinks and
I love it.
That'll be good. Something.
I love it. There you go. We can talk about what's transpired. So
yeah. Exactly.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great one, and be safe out there.
All right. Thanks, Jeff. Take care.
Thanks, Mark.
See ya.